Hello, everyone, and welcome to Killer Baby Lily Gamer, my channel on YouTube. Today, I'm going to talk about some more Doctor Who with last night's episode of Into the Darlek. And earlier this week, I put out a video about Doctor Who, and I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about Doctor Who each week. But then I realized, I was like, well, I can't not talk about spoiler stuff, because that would just make these videos like 30 seconds long. I'd give you the gist of what happened without giving anything away, and that would be it. So, with that, I'm going to be doing this all spoilers, so just like any podcast or TV talk show that you'd watch after a episode of your favorite show like The Walking Dead or anything, this will have spoilers from the last night's episode. So, just keep that in mind. If you have not seen Doctor Who Episode 2 of Season 8, Into the Darlek, don't watch this video. If you have watched it, or you just don't care, welcome. I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about what happened last week first, because I didn't really touch on anything last week. I tried to keep that spoiler free, so this is also going to touch in to last week's episode as well. And so last week's episode, I said there was a dinosaur. It got killed. Well, the alien that killed it was more like a cyborg. It was part robot, part human, and there was this kind of conflict between. It wasn't really a fight. It was more of a struggle where they were trying to push each other. But the Doctor and this villain, and the Doctor kind of talked it down. Like one of us is going to die here, and I think we both know who that's going to be. And the cyborg evil villain killed himself. They were up in the air in this like building like thing, and he jumped out and killed himself. And then it showed this like this lady. She said it was heaven, and that he was dead, so he went to heaven. So it kind of makes sense. But when I saw the area, it kind of reminded me of the area that Amy was trapped in. I forgot what season it was in, because I watched all of that back to back, so I don't remember. But Amy, she was in that sick area where if they have a certain amount of time, they go to the sick area, and like they put the sick person into one room, and then the healthy people in the other room, so they could watch and kind of play out this really long like sense of this is they're living longer, but they really weren't. So Amy was trapped there, and there was the trying to decide whether or not to just take the old Amy with them, or go back and save young Amy before old Amy ever came to be. And there were some areas in that facility that were outdoors, and a bunch of flowers and stuff, but it looked very similar to that. I don't know if it was that place, or if BBC was just reusing that area to for their supposed heaven. And so I don't know what to make of that. It was really confusing to me. I'm like, it looks so similar. It may not have been. I may be looking too much into it, but I have a feeling that lady who's bringing these people into heaven is going to take a larger role in this season or throughout the 12th Doctor's series. So, and then it ended with the Doctor talking to Clara about him being the Doctor, and she got a phone call from the previous Doctor, Matt Smith, like telling her to kind of look after himself, because essentially it's the same guy. It's the Doctor. It's just a new actor playing him, so they kind of have to put in like this whole change where the Doctor was young, now he's old, so now he's having to deal with that. He doesn't like being old, and he doesn't really know if he can trust himself, I guess. So moving into this week's episode, Into the Darlek, the Doctor, he rescues this lady who is about to be blown up by a Dalek ship, and he takes her back to her commanding officer because she's a military person, and they say they need a doctor. So he's like, all right, what do you need? And they bring him to this Darlek. And the Darlek's asking for a doctor, and the doctor's like, well, why should I help you? Well, you're just going to hurt more people. And then the Darlek says something very interesting. He says, I must destroy all Darleks. And then he's like, yes, you must destroy. What? What did you say? You must destroy all Darleks? So, um, the the credits roll and then it shows Clara, and she has some sort of love interest with a man that she is working with at her school, and so there was all that, but that wasn't really interesting, I don't think, at least. Then the doctor shows up to pick up Clara. He says, I need your help with this. I need to know what you think. So they go back to the ship after the doctor picks her up, and he shows her the Darlek. And so they have this machine that can shrink people, so they get shrunk down, and then they enter into the Darlek, and they're going to fix him internally. They go in, and they see all these different like walls and things. It looks like they're inside of a robot, but Daleks are mainly robot, and so when they try to um, bring themselves lower down into the Dalek, they use like these grappling hook things, and it hurts the Dalek, and then these like robotic antibodies show up, and they're going to stop whatever's hurting the Dalek, and it ends up killing one of their team. So it's at this point where you realize like this is like a real living organism, but it's a machine living organism. It has antibodies. It breaks things down. What they were looking at originally was the brain of the Dalek. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So as they're moving through the Dalek, they realize that there's some radiation levels, and they go to the area where the radiation is the strongest, and they fix that area, and thus it's healed the Dalek. And when they do that, the Dalek goes back to normal, and he wants to kill humans and everything in the galaxy. And so now the doctor and Clara are trying to figure out what they can do to stop it. They think, well, what the military people think, well, let's just kill it from the inside. But Clara's like, no, let's not do that. And this season, I kept hearing that it's going to be dark, and it definitely is a lot darker, because the doctor, he's like, yeah, go ahead, kill it, I don't care. And he's like, and Clara says, like, you're just ready to die inside this Dalek. Like, when the Dalek was good, it showed us something. He's like, no, it doesn't. Daleks can't change. They're always going to be evil. And then Clara like convinces him, no, we saw that the Dalek can be good. And so he's like, all right, well, let's try and save the Starlight, make it good. So they ensue on that. And so Clara, she goes back up into the brain, and then the doctor, he goes like to the like human, like the fleshy part of the Dalek, and going to try and convince the Dalek after Clara has rebooted the brain of the Dalek to give it like emotions to not just hate. It's going to give it like hope emotions and things like that. He's going to do something to prove to the Dalek that there is hope in the galaxy, and that it shouldn't want to destroy everything. It should be good. And while they're doing this, another member of the team, they get killed, and they end up in this heaven area. And that's the lady again. That she has like tea all set out, and snacks and things. And so there was another look into that, and that was really all that there was. That's why I'm kind of like, I know now that something more is going to like bring on more of that in the show in this season. So I'm really interested where they're going with that. I'm it's a little bit confusing to me, but I know Doctor Who, they keep giving you little bits of information, and then finally it all leads up to something. And so we'll figure it out eventually. I just don't know when. So once they rebooted the Darlek's mind and make it think it's good, the Darlek is kind of like fused with the Doctor's brain. Like the Doctor's showing the Darlek all things that are good throughout the universe, but in one instant, the Darlek sees all the hatred the Doctor has for the Daleks. So this turns the Darlek, and he wants to destroy all Daleks. And while this is going on, the bad Dalek, he had summoned the other Daleks to come to the ship where the humans are, and they're have this assault on all the humans. They're trying to destroy them, and so now the good Dalek is like, I'm going to destroy all Daleks, and he goes out and he does just that. He kills all the Daleks that are on the ship, and at the end of the episode, towards the end of the episode, after all the Daleks are destroyed and Doctor Who and Clara, they're outside of the Dalek says it's going to go back to the Dalek ship and essentially kill all the Daleks within that ship. And the Doctor, he didn't want that. The Dalek's like, this is a victory for you. And he's like, no, the victory would have been making you good, not make you want to destroy your own kind. And it's pretty dark. I mean, like I said, so far, both of these two episodes, somebody has died within both episodes. There was the bad guy in the last episode. There was two different human characters, and a bunch of Daleks are dead. Some people might say, oh, well, Daleks, they deserve to die, but that's not what the Doctor's about. He wants to resolve issues through intellect and not necessarily kindness, but try and make people more kind. He doesn't want to just destroy all things in the universe that are bad. He wants everybody to live in peace and harmony. And as we know, even throughout human history, that may not be possible. And essentially, it could be said, if we found other alien beings out there, that it could turn out the same way. But I have more than a feeling if they showed up in peace, that humans would fuck that up. That we would try and overthrow some alien galactic empire out there, if there is anything like that. Which our galaxy is very big, and the universe it's ginormous. There's bound to be something out there that has life. We can't be the only people alive. I mean, there could be something trillions of miles away that we cannot even see and cannot reach, and they cannot reach us. They're in the same state as we are, where they're intelligent beings, but they figured out space travel, but they can't go very far distances. So that's my 2 cents on that. But this episode was pretty cool. I liked it. I was wondering, I'm like, how are they going to do Into the Darlek? Are they going to go into a Darlek ship and then they go inside a Darlek? So I was like, oh, that's interesting. At the end of the episode, also, the Doctor and Clara have a moment where earlier in the episode, he had asked Clara, am I a good man? And Clara just says, I don't know. And she says that again to him, I don't know. But I think you tried to be a good man, and that's what counts. And the Doctor's like, okay. And then Clara leaves to go out and do whatever she does, as goes and teaches and things like that, as when she's not with the Doctor and stuff. And then next episode, it looks like they're going to like some medieval time with Robin Hood. So I'm interested to see next episode. I always like that kind of setting, medieval times and stuff like that. It looks pretty interesting. So that's pretty much it. The episode, like I said, they're getting dark. I knew that going into the season that they're going to start going in a darker area. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if for the first few episodes somebody's going to die in each and every episode. The Doctor is trying to kind of figure himself out. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense that he would do that. Like, he's changed now, and he's this different person, and he kind of gives this new personality, but he's still essentially the same person. He has all these memories of the previous doctors and things like that. And it kind of seems like to me he's more dealing with repercussions of David Tennant, where David Tennant, before he finished being the Doctor, he started going down to this darker side of the Doctor, where he was dealing with more darker matters. And then we had Matt Smith, and things kind of went a different way. I mean, Matt Smith dealt with dark things, but he didn't let that consume him, whereas David Tennant did towards the end. And now it kind of seems like the new Doctor, he's kind of getting consumed by these dark things, and he's going to need Clara to pull him out of this darkness and show him the light, essentially. So maybe that's also something that has to do with heaven. Maybe he's going to end up there somehow, and he's going to see some sort of light or something there, and it's going to restore him and say, you know what, even though there's a lot of bad throughout the galaxy, I need to be that symbol of hope for many of the good people that are out there. So that's just my thoughts. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe to see more content from me, and I'll see you next Sunday for episode 3 of Doctor Who.